Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Matt Aramondo's comedy vlog. I'm Matt Aromando, and this is the vlog where I talk about how my comedy career has been going for the past week. This is the first episode of the new season. I've now divided these successfully to seasons. If you want to check out what that looks like, there are playlists on my channel. I made a Season 1 is like 9 or 10 episodes, and it's all about how many baskets, my first sketch. The second season is all about mistake stickers, my second sketch. And this will be the first vlog for the new season of this next sketch I'm writing, which does not quite have a name yet. It has, well, no, it doesn't even have a working title yet. We'll get to that. So about that next sketch, I haven't decided what it's called yet. It doesn't really have a working title yet, but here, let me take you down a little bit of a winding path. This channel that I have, I had a lot of plans for, and a lot of plans that have changed over the months. So originally it was maybe September or October. I wanted to start putting out sketches every month. October became November, November became December. And honestly, the first sketch I wanted to do for this channel, or one of the early ones I wanted to do, I will say I wanted to maybe do mistake stickers in possibly October, November. I had plans for a sketch that made sense to come out around Christmas or in the month of December. And it's one of my favorite sketches I've ever written, but I realized I did not really have the technical prowess to maybe accomplish it. I didn't want to like make it and screw it up. And so I decided that I would move back some of the sketches. I was going to do mistake stickers in December because it was an infomercial, and I thought infomercials also went around holiday season because people are trying to sell their stuff. You know, I ended up not being able to do that. I went with how many baskets first in January. It was a whole thing trying to like figure out technically what is the harder of all the sketches. Finally, you know, in January, I really start ramping things up. I don't get my first sketch out until the very beginning of March, which was fine. Even though I wanted a February one, I'd rather, you know, get the sketch right and then put it out a few days later. So I've been putting out sketches around the beginning of the month lately. So it was the beginning of March. I know it was April Fool's Day was my second one. And this one, I guess, I wanted to be out by the end of April, but just seeing how far I am, it probably won't be till, again, the beginning of May. So it's the beginning of the month, I guess, is when I put these out. So the plan really going into doing those first couple sketches, how many baskets, mistake stickers, was to minimize the number of performers I needed for them. So how many baskets is just me. Mistake stickers is just me and my wife as the narrator, which it works out fine for social distancing because we live in the same place. So the point eventually was to ramp up to sketches that would have multiple people in them. I wouldn't feel like I was wasting people's time because I knew how to use the camera and edit and do sound and do all those things. The writing I was never really that concerned with because I know how to write, but I did not know how to film and do all that stuff. So I wanted to keep it to one person or maybe two people in the beginning. I mean, sketches normally have a couple of people in it, you know, 2 to 5 people maybe in your normal sketch, you know, maybe more. Obviously there are one-person sketches or characters usually. For example, I mean, How Many Baskets actually was a multi-person sketch. It ended up being a one-person sketch that I just wrote out all of the sort of children characters. It was sort of a back and forth between the teacher and their students, but it turns out that I was able to make it just a teacher sort of talking to an invisible audience. I don't know if it worked better, but it definitely was a solution. I really wanted to ramp up to that point, and I thought I would be there now, and I think technically I could be, but of course we all find ourselves in this social distancing situation, so I can't get groups of people together right now. So that has left me scrambling a little bit for ideas that I can do by myself. So while I have a bunch of sketches that I want to put out, and I assume that I will be putting them out, you know, later in the year, whenever this all clears up or you know, clears up to the point where I can produce sketches. Now, I normally let ideas just come to me. I'm not much of a brainstormer when it comes to making up concepts and pitch ideas. I can brainstorm once I'm in the idea, but for some reason, I let them sort of come to me, and then I write notes in my phone, and then I write them out as whole pieces later. And so far that's worked out fine. For every sketch thing I've ever done in my life, I just typically don't sit down and do like research. I mean, sometimes if I am doing like a current event-based sketch, I will, peruse some headlines and try to find what's actually in the news. But generally, I'm just coming up with ideas. And also that's why I'm typically not doing topical comedy on this channel, and why you won't be seeing any coronavirus-related sketches. I'm not going to do any toilet paper gags or any of that stuff. Anyways, all this is to say is that I have a ton of ideas, but none of them really fit for the way I want to film this next sketch. So what I ended up doing was sort of perusing through notebooks and things I had written in my phone and that kind of stuff, and trying to find a pitch that I felt like I could do as one person, something that I was basically starting from scratch and then could write out a whole sketch. So I went through a lot of notebooks, I threw away a lot of old notes, I found some really dumb stuff. So what I think is going to happen is I'm going to write a sketch based on the idiom, wait for the other shoe to drop, which is a real thing that happens in New York. The phrase is like, oh, one thing happens, then another thing will happen. And I will say, living in an apartment where the person above me does like take his shoes off and then throw them on the floor, I live the idiom. I hear one shoe fall on the ground, and then I wait 5 seconds and I hear another shoe hit the ground. So I think this is going to be kind of a little bit of a surreal sketch, more so than my first two sketches, which were pretty realistic seeming. I think this will give me another chance to maybe produce something a little different. I mean, my first sketch, character sketch, second sketch was a commercial parody, and this one I think might be a little cinematic. I don't know. I actually haven't written this sketch yet. Basically, I wrote down this one like idea. I mean, I wrote the idiom down and then I wrote like a couple little notes, but there's no real hard concept yet there, just kind of the beginnings of an idea. So I'll spend this next week writing. Since I need to hurry this up, I'm going to write a couple of drafts, send them out to some friends, see what they think. And then hopefully next week we'll have a draft done, and maybe I'll just get all the writing done in a week. I actually don't think there's gonna be that much dialogue in it. It might be a lot of sort of action in it, and that would be sort of great. And again, I think I can do it with just me, and probably get my wife to be a part of it or something like that. But yeah, all right, that's all I've got. And thank you for checking out my vlog this week. Make sure you give it a like. And if you aren't already, please subscribe to the channel. And I will talk to you again next week. Bye.